Good evening and welcome to the City of Kingston's public hearing for the fiscal years July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029 Consolidated Plan. No? Now? Now does it work? The Office of Community Development is working with consultants to help the city design the Consolidated Plan, the Analysis to Impediments to Fair Housing, and a Language Access Plan. Each year, the city submits an annual action plan to HUD, which provides a concise summary of the actions, activities, and the specific federal and non-federal resources that will be used each year to address the priority needs and specific goals identified by the Consolidated Plan. In conjunction with the aforementioned plans, the city is concurrently working on the fiscal year 2024 annual action plan, which is the first year of the 5-year Consolidated Plan. We are joined this evening by our consultants from Mullins and Lonergan Associates. At this time, I would like to introduce and turn over the public hearing to Kate Molinaro.
Good evening, and thank you for your time this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you a little bit about the city's CDBG funding, as well as the 5-year Consolidated Plan. Please note that we only have 1 hour for this evening's public hearing, as Common Council will meet immediately following at 7 p.m. What is the 5-year Consolidated Plan? As Mandy mentioned, in order to receive federal funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the city must prepare a 5-year Consolidated Plan that identifies the strategic priorities and goals that the city will attempt to address over the next 5 years. In addition, annually, the city must prepare an action plan where it defines to HUD how it will spend each year's individual allocation. The Consolidated Plan that is currently in preparation by the city covers the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029. In addition to extensive stakeholder outreach and consultation, which involves discussions with housing and social service providers, homeless assistance agencies, the Housing Authority, economic development agencies, and city departments, we also are required to undergo a public participation process, which is the purpose for the hearing this evening. The 5-year Consolidated Plan also includes a housing needs assessment where we take a look at data regarding housing inventory, housing stock, quality of housing, and cost burden analysis of households living in the city. We also undergo a homeless needs assessment, so we identify homeless resources that are available in the city and also resources that might be needed but are not available. The qualitative and quantitative analysis pieces all inform the strategic plan. So any activity that the city would like to fund over the next 5 years or any project that it would want to undertake must be outlined in the strategic plan, outlined in the Consolidated Plan that is currently in preparation. And again, as Mandy mentioned, the 5th component of the Consolidated Plan includes the 2024 Annual Action Plan, where we specify particular activities that the city will use its annual allocation in order to address those needs and priorities that are identified. Some of the basic CDBG eligible activities include housing rehabilitation, homeownership assistance, public facility and infrastructure improvements. These are things like street improvements, sidewalk improvements, curb cuts, but it also includes improvements to public facilities, community centers, senior centers, and other buildings that are used to provide services to the residents of the city. Economic development activities are also included, as well as public services. Public services, while a very popular eligible activity, the city is limited to spending only 15% of each annual allocation on public service activities. And these include things like employment training, childcare services, healthcare, including mental health and substance misuse counseling and education, fair housing education and counseling, homeownership education, youth services, senior services, as well as park and recreation and youth programming at the city's parks and other recreation facilities. In addition to being an eligible activity, the city is also tasked with spending at least 70% of its allocation on activities that benefit low and moderate income persons. The city can also undertake activities that address a slum or blighting influence or an urgent need, which is a rare instance and usually only happens when there's a presidentially declared or national disaster. What does this look like in Kingston? Based on 2023 income limits, where we consider low income to be 80% of the area median income. For a family of 4 in Kingston in 2023, this was $81,300. These income limits are updated annually by HUD, and they're usually published sometime between April and June every year. So for fiscal year 2024, the city is expecting to receive about $650,000. This is based on the 2023 allocation. Because Congress has not yet passed a fiscal year 2024 budget, the city does not yet know exactly the allocation that it will receive. A review of the city's previous program performance. This is based on the 2022 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. This is an annual report submitted to HUD by September 30th of every year. So based on the report that was submitted last year, the city was able to undertake public infrastructure improvements that benefited 15,000 individuals in the city. Also provided funding for homeowner rehabilitation and accessible housing improvements. Because of a vacancy at the city, this program was moved a little bit slower than it has in the past. However, 4 rehab projects that were underway were completed prior to the most recent departure by city staff. And finally, the public service activities that the city was able to fund in the program year 2022 supported 3,233 individuals, ranging from youth services all the way through other community services provided by the city. As Mandy mentioned, we are also engaged to prepare an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice. This is a document that identifies certain demographic information, looks at public policies around fair housing, and it also looks at sales and rental market data to identify potential barriers to households being able to live in the housing that they want to live in the location that they want to live in. There are federal, state, and local laws that protect individuals from being discriminated against in both housing and housing transactions, rental, ownership, sales, mortgage lending, as well as homeowners insurance. The Federal Fair Housing Act ensures housing access for all. These are the protected classes for the under the Federal Fair Housing Act, and they include race, color, religion, disability, sex, familial status, and national origin. In addition, the New York State Human Rights Law adds additional protected classes for including age, gender identity, military status, sexual orientation, marital status, and lawful source of income in housing only. An example of this would be the Housing Choice Voucher or the Section 8 program. Examples of housing discrimination include a landlord or a real estate agent asking questions or steering families to a particular neighborhood or housing type based on their religious practices. It also includes an agent refusing to show a unit or a house that's been advertised as for sale or vacant. Extra security deposits or other extra burdensome requirements that the landlord or an agent might require for families with children are against the fair housing law as well. And a landlord that refuses to rent to a tenant because he or she uses a wheelchair is also a form of housing discrimination. At this time, we would like to open the public hearing for comment. Again, if you are participating in person, you can come to the podium and please state your name for the record. If you are watching via YouTube, you can provide written comments to the city by the end of April. And so again, at this time, I would welcome anyone who would like to provide public comment regarding the needs and priorities in the city to do so.
Hi, my name's Paulette Freundorfer, and I am with the Read and Write program, which serves children that are below their grade level in literacy. Uh, I've been there for about 5 years, and I found out about the program through a poster at the post office. Oh, okay. How's that? Is that better? Can I be there?
Mhm.
I'm a little closer too. Okay. So I found out about the program from a poster at the post office, and when I found out about it, I was a senior, which I continue to be a senior, and I was really looking for a way to do some service, and I really enjoy working with children. It's wonderful to work with trying to improve the literacy of the children. Many of them come in and they're really below their grade level in literacy, and so they get one-on-one attention in the program. I'm sure in schools the teachers do the best that they can. However, I'm sure they are not always able to offer one-on-one help for the kids that are below their grade level. It's since I've been there about 5 years, the children have gotten to know me pretty well, and um, I've learned a lot from them in terms of how to teach, how to methods to be able to get the information across, and um, so it's a wonderful program. I'm really happy, especially as a senior, to be able to do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Closer? Okay, everybody? Okay. I'm also here representing the Read and Write program. I'm sorry, my name is Deanna Schreiber. I live in Ulster County. I've worked as a social worker and a professor at Ulster, so I know the county pretty well. And what I'm doing with the Read and Write program, I'm looking at that program and saying, these kids couldn't get to those places without having a sense of literacy. So the program that I volunteer for is great for me, because I'm getting to use some of the same skills I used in my employment, but also for the kids, because they are learning, they're really improving their reading skills in the program. You can see the difference. And there are enough different people there that work with the kids that they get to know different kinds of people. They get to work with people that work well with them. They learn just from interacting with us, just new words and new ways of thinking. So I just wanted to say that with all my heart, I hope that we get some funding for that program to continue and maybe even grow. I can't think of anything more important than reading for people to learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carl Brown. My brother Al Brown actually started a program called the Head Start, Early Head Start program. That's down also at Community Action. And those programs today are really in dire need, not only of financing, but to keep the programs. Because a lot of those programs are being moved to the school level at this point right now, where the kids aren't getting that personal attention. So if we can use any funding to fund the early start Head Start programs, that would be great. Um, the reason why a lot of those programs were started, I don't think people know, excuse me, is that a lot of kids were going to school and they were years behind, 6, 8 years behind other kids because they didn't learn how to read and write. When they instituted these programs, these kids were getting a chance to not only be in competitive mode, but getting a chance to start learning the reading and writing programs that they weren't learning in their households. So whatever we can do to help out our community, this is a way that it strengthens the community and it also infuses better leaderships within our community to take these seats that you guys are currently holding.
Hello, my name is Dominique Campbell. I'm here with the Read and Write program, and I would just like to say how important I believe the program is. We work with the children and we help them with their literacy, and I feel that that's really important because as you get older, you need the skills to be able to read and write, especially as you go through different grade levels. I know in the high school, you have to be able to read and write in order to pass a lot of your exams. So I feel that it's really important for the kids to get those skills they need while they're young, or even the older kids, they can still benefit from the program also. So yeah, I just feel like it's really important that they get those skills. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Garrett Williams. I work with the Read and Write Center. I think it's very important for the kids to read, and I learned so much to read. I got better at reading. The kids got better. I think it's very amazing that I work with the kids, and I get to know a lot of others, and it's really good that the kids can get this program because some others don't, because some are homeschooled, some are not, some have hard talking to others, some don't want to read, some do. But I think it's really important for kids to read.
I'm Tyler Schaefer. This is my third year with Read and Write. So our job is to make sure that one day, we see the kids out there with good jobs. We're helping them read. Sometimes I play games with them. My job, I love my job. Come in, read with the kids, help them with homework, and I just want to see them succeed.
Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Thomas Washington. I'm the executive director of the Read and Write program. So I know today we're talking about your 5-year plan and those things that are needed in the community. We can't think of nothing more important than having reading and writing in that 5-year plan. As when we first started this meeting, as you noticed, someone was on the screen reading out what the plan, what everything in the plan was about. So it tells you right there that being able to read is important. It follows you through your life. So, and also with these young people that are working with the program, it's giving them an opportunity to acquire skills that they would not acquire. Some of them are very nervous to even come up and speak in front of you guys, which, you know, myself, I told them, don't worry, I'm nervous also. So just get up there and speak and let them know how important this is to you. Without the program being there, they wouldn't have a job, you know, in which enhances them. Garrett said that when he's in school, his teacher noticed that his reading is better. Since he's been working at the program, the staff, they have to read out loud also. In order to get the kids to read, sometimes I'll say, well, tell them you'll read a page and they'll read a page. You'll read a paragraph, because having a program after school or during the summer and trying to get a child to learn, work on their literacy, is almost impossible, but it's not, because we do it, and we do it by figuring out what is the best way to work with the children. We have the seniors coming in, like they came up and spoke about how it's rewarding for them, and how they acknowledge that the most important thing that that they can do is help somebody prepare for their future through literacy. And I know that for me, going to college and through school, I struggled with writing. You know, that was one of the most hardest, most difficult thing that I have struggled with, not only in college and high school and junior high school, and even in my position as a caseworker right now, is, you know, writing is something that I got to do every day. And when I just had my evaluation, like I tell the kids, they get evaluations. When they get into a bigger job, they're going to get evaluation. One of the things my supervisor asked, what is one thing you want to work on? I said, my writing. And in order to have the job, you have to have a bachelor's degree. You have to go to college. So I struggled and I fought and I got my degree. And even with my degree, it took me 10 years of working, not through the county, but at the county job. I was in the building, but I was contracted in. And it took me 10 years to get up the courage to go and apply as a caseworker, because I knew I had to write. And I did not have the confidence to take a job where I would have to write. So the only reason, after 10 years of going in the hallway and talking to the clients and everything, one of the sheriffs, he was like, Teresa, you should be a caseworker. I hear you talking in the hallway. I hear how you talk to the people. You should be a caseworker. And I just, you know, I didn't believe in myself, but, you know, people around me. So I went, and even up to going out to Ulster Community College to take the test, I walked in the building, I walked back out and got my car. And I was like, I knew the answers and everything, but I just knew that I would have to be writing. So I know from my own experience how it follows you throughout your life, um, without having those skills necessary, which is literacy, reading and writing. And that's why I am so passionate about telling you and asking you, when you put in your 5-year plan, to put in literacy as one of the options to be able, because there's nothing else in this community, I've lived here since I was 4, that is more beneficial for our kids and for the families than being able to have a literacy program for our people, our seniors, our juniors, our young people. Everybody benefits. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jen, and I'm a Ward 7 resident of Kingston. And I just wanted to quickly express how important I think it is to, I think most of us are aware of the housing challenges that are going on and how unaffordable housing has really become across the board for all income classes here in Kingston. So I just really wanted to emphasize that point and make sure that that is something you all are considering in your 5-year plan. I think it's really essential. A lot of the people who have been here for years, for their whole lives, are being priced out. And even there's just not enough housing as well. But really, with the cost of living increasing and the inflation that has been happening, rent prices have really skyrocketed, housing prices have skyrocketed, and the wages do not match. People are not able to earn a living wage in many of the jobs that are out there. So I just wanted to urge you guys to consider that as housing as like a really important issue here in the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Hello, folks. My name is Justin Orshon. I live in Ward 5. I've been in Kingston since about 2017, and was grateful that since the first time I kind of accidentally landed here, I fell in love with this place. I'm sure many of us in this room and the people here are here because we really love this place. And I believe that you're all here because you want to help the people who love this place live in this place. And that's what I have tried to do my best over the past years, particularly before COVID and into COVID. We used to call it a housing crisis. I don't really know what to call it anymore because it feels like so much more than that. I think it's just really important to presence how dire of a situation that we're in, even in it is important for us to be creating longer term plans, but acknowledging how many longer term plans have been put in place in the past and how little groundwork we've had to support the folks who've been getting displaced in those years since. We've had an exodus of many of our beloved community members and neighbors, many friends of mine, many people that I've door knocked, that other colleagues have door knocked to help show up for tenants' rights in the past. Many of those people are no longer living here or are no longer have been evicted from their homes because they're in motels in the region. And so just really want to highlight and prioritize the need for immediate emergency housing for our community members who are currently on the street and how it's very easy for them to get lost in the system and to stay on the streets. For longer term housing for folks who've been displaced to motels and for improvement of the conditions in those existing motels, and then longer term housing provided for affordable housing specifically. I want to just acknowledge one story to capture, for instance, the experience of folks who are currently getting evicted and displaced or evicted from subpar housing. Just last week, a friend of mine had had the city workers knock on a door. They essentially deemed the apartment they were in untenable. They'd been given 6 hours to remove their things, to find temporary housing that night by DSS, which ended up being 25-minute drive up to Catskill. And then when that happens, those folks are then told to come back every single day to DSS until they're able to find a more permanent solution. What that means is that DSS does bring them to DSS, but at the end of the day, once they get placed, they don't have a way to get to the place that they're being placed at. So they either have to pay money out of their pocket that they don't have, they have to try to scrounge resources from friends, they're already displaced from permanent housing. The systems are just in place, make it extraordinarily challenging for folks to get into housing and good housing, and much easier for them to get lost in the system, to essentially end up on the streets eventually if they're not able to keep coming and coming and coming. So it's a really dire situation for those folks. I ask that while we're considering these 5-year plans, doing everything we can to consider the most immediate impacted folks who need housing first and prioritize those peoples. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Star Bullock. I have been Oh, sorry. I've been working for Read and Write since I was 17 years old, and I'm currently a college student at SUNY Ulster. Without Read and Write, I honestly wouldn't be able to be in college because I was a kid that didn't know Read and Write was available to me. I'm the type of kid that can't read and talk in public, and being that I'm able to read to the kids and even read to an entire group of kids with the encouragement of Miss Washington and my fellow staff members, uh, Read and Write is it's a very important program.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Hello, how you doing? I've been in Kingston most of my life. Pretty much born and raised here. I came here today to pretty much to bring attention to the kids. There's really no program from the kids 18 to like 29. There's so many stuff going on. It's new day and age. We're in 2025, 2024, and kids are doing social media. Kids are doing other things. There's no program teaching kids trades, talents, or anything that focus on kids how to make money at a young age. A lot of these kids nowadays are seeing kids on social media making money, and there's no attention to the kids. I understand that people are doing business. Kingston evolving. Trust me, I love it. I embrace it, but also don't forget about people that have been here all their lives and the kids that are coming up. There's a big gap between little kids in grade school and adults. There's a whole area of kids that y'all totally forgetting about. Now, I understand y'all putting things in place to better Kingston. I'm all for it, but don't forget about the young adults. Cause y'all talk about y'all care about kids and y'all really not paying attention to these kids. Like kids want to play sports. There's no lights on basketball courts. I mean, I know it's a North audience after like 10 p.m., but from 8 to 9, 8 to 10, you put some lights on the court, let the kids play basketball. No crime playing sports, no crime playing basketball. There's something kids can do. To piggyback off the Read and Write program, that program is a great program as well. So programs like that to show kids what they need to do or how to do, or what they need to do with their money or need to do with their education or their talents or traits is something just Kingston needs to improve on very, very much. And it's hurt my heart that nobody is bringing attention to the kids. So it's crazy that y'all keep forgetting about it. I keep talking about the kids and y'all not putting no effort in at all. I see it all the time. I be quiet, but I'm voicing my opinion for the kids because they have no voice. So in your 5-year plans, please, please, please focus on the young adults because y'all totally forgetting about them and y'all quick to throw them in jail or say they in trouble, but y'all not getting no real alternative. After the situation over with, y'all forget about them, but they kids have lives after that. That is it's totally messed up and totally not fair that you're doing to these young adults. So please, in your 5-year plan, focus on these young adults. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, I believe that was the last speaker.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you all for your comments. They will all be incorporated into the city's strategic plan and the consolidated plan effort. A reminder that the city does have a survey available. I believe it's posted on the city's social media accounts and it's also been distributed through Engage Kingston. There's a link both in English and Spanish, so we encourage you to complete the survey. It's meant for members of the public, but also nonprofit and other service provider agencies. So again, encourage you to take that survey. Once we do have the plan drafted, it will be made available for public review and comment so that you can review all of the qualitative and quantitative analysis that we've conducted as well as identifying the priorities and the goals that the city has arrived at after this process. We do expect that Common Council will consider adopting the plan at their first meeting in May. And then the plan will be submitted to HUD for review and approval sometime around mid-May. And the city's program year, as well as their 5-year consolidated plan year or cycle, will start on July 1st of 2024. Any questions that you might have may be directed to the city. And again, if you are watching via YouTube and have comments after this evening's presentation or on the plan itself, those can also be addressed in writing to the city. Thank you very much for your time.
At this time, we will close the public hearing. Thank you very much.